Hello, everyone. My name is Dave Krieger, and I'm the author of the book Clouded Titles, amongst many others. And I'm posting a series of YouTube videos so that you can get a snootful of information when this coronavirus issue has ended. Now, with coronavirus, we know that they placed a moratorium on multiple mortgage loans, mostly with the government-sponsored entities, or GSEs as they're known. And part of the problem with this is it doesn't really cover conventional loans, except for the fact that many state governors have put the kibosh on them foreclosing until this issue with coronavirus has ended. Now the problem is and the reason I'm wearing my Chiefs t-shirt today is because a great defense is a good offense. That's foreclosure defense, is having a good offense. And in these series of videos, because the Chiefs are my team, and they're rated the #1 offense in the NFL right now. Now, the reason I'm not trying to get you to subscribe to Patrick Mahomes and company. What I'm trying to do here is make you understand that there is a right way and a wrong way when foreclosure defense is necessary. A lot of people are doing research, and it becomes fundamentally important to understand exactly how the system is working and how it's not working. And the courts in many states are closed. And so it makes it very difficult, even though there are certain cases that are being heard, especially in the appellate level. There are certain cases that are not being heard on the district court level, which is where you need to be. The district courts and the circuit courts are, depending on the state you're in, have a lot to do with how your foreclosure is going to be processed or not processed. A lot of the foreclosures right now have been suspended as far as non-judicial states, which are what we call deed of trust states. And these kinds of states basically hold a sale on the courthouse steps, and they sell your house. You have no control over it. At least that's what they want you to think. That's why they send you notices giving you so much time to respond. Well, the thing is that you may seemingly, because of loss of income, job, you may have lost a family member to coronavirus, and it has literally killed your finances, either fighting it or trying to maintain some semblance of sanity and financial stability during this crisis. Well, the thing is that this is not, has nothing to do with the foreclosure aspect. The foreclosure aspect comes when there is a default on the mortgage. Now, they've been told not to gouge your credit report. Now, that doesn't mean that when this moratorium is lifted, that your credit report is not going to be stained with all of these past due payments you didn't make. Understand that if your loan is securitized, what's going to happen is that in securitization, there is a column in the 424B5 prospectus of every securitized trust, if it's legitimate, or it's not one of these private 144 or 144A kind of trusts. There is a specific provision called advances, where the servicer is required to make the payment of your principal and your interest on your mortgage loan, whether you pay it or not. And see, that's a neat deal, but people, unless you know how to fight it, that's a problem. And so one of the things as far as having a good offense is being able to do the research and get your tools together that you may need to fight this thing when it's all said and done, because they will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming until they take your house. And this is just the way it is. I have a very hard time sometimes explaining to people, sometimes it's not worth fighting, especially if you've only been in your house for a short period of time. And people don't realize that if you don't have a lot of equity, it's not worth fighting. A lot of people want to stay in their house no matter whether they have equity or not, because their house is their security. Oh, it's like, I'm so sorry. But the thing is you signed a contract, and it's called a mortgage loan. You signed all the paperwork, you went to the closing table, you signed it, and the reason you signed it is because you wanted the keys. You wanted the keys to the house. You wanted a place to live. I get it. I have a place to live. I'm coming to you from my studio. And so, we talk about the fact that, people signed contracts, and this is contract law, and they're going to look at this contract, and they're going to look at everything in the chain of title, which is why I have an online chain of title assessment workshop. And it's on cloudedtitles.com. And all you have to do is go there and sign up and enroll, and we'll send you 4 different downloads, And these downloads are 4 hours each. And you get your pad and paper and you start taking notes. And you let me know, and I will send you a gob of information that you can take and use that and put that in a packet to do your research on chain of title. Chain of title is the most important thing right now in foreclosure defense, because if there's anything in that chain of title that doesn't look right, probably have a good reason to believe that it isn't. And there's a big problem because a lot of these earlier documents that were done between 2008 and 2012, and even beyond that, we found documents in 2018 and 19 that are bogus. In other words, when we say bogus, I mean they contain false and misrepresentative statements. Now, you wouldn't know it just to look at a document. But the thing is if you don't become familiar with the local county land records, you don't know what you're looking for. So that's one of the reasons why we offer the Chain of Title Assessment Workshop class, so that you can learn how to go in and do that. cloudedtitles.com is the website. You can go in and download it. We'll send you all the information that goes along with that class, and you can start researching chain of title. It's very important because there's these pesky little things called assignments that we talk about in the Coda Workshop and how to fight them. And so, in the series of YouTube videos that I'm going to be posting here, you basically are going to get not a snootful, because that I'm not going to do. I don't give away free advice. I'm not an attorney. I am a paralegal and a trial consultant. I've consulted attorneys in foreclosure cases in court, and I consult clients and I consult their lawyers, and I'm not an attorney referral service. So, everything I say here is common sense information. It's not legal advice, and you should not construe it as such. You have to make these decisions for yourself, because remember what I said, the best defense is a good offense, and it doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out. It's just that a lot of people don't have time to do the research. But with this coronavirus thing going on, that's a whole different story. You do have time to do research. You do have time to get a case together. And we're seeing a little bit different shifting of the tide as far as how to defend your property and how to keep it in play. Now, if the average attorney can keep your house in a foreclosure defense scenario for 2 years, your mission would be to figure out, how did they do that? How did they delay that foreclosure continuously for 2 years? How did they do it? And it operates the same way in judicial states versus non-judicial. And if you don't have the resources and the funds to pay an attorney, you need to learn to do it yourself. And I'll tell you right now up front, you're already at a disadvantage. Judges do not like pro se litigants. Judges want attorneys in court representing pro se litigants. They want to have a contract signed. They want a nexus into the court. And these judges in this day and age are not fair. Some of them are really nice guys, but they pay mortgages too. And so when you come in and you haven't paid on your mortgage, judge is going to look at you and go, hey, I pay my mortgage. Why aren't you paying yours? And see, that's the thing that's going to come back and bite you in the butt. So what we are trying to do here is give you a little bit of upfront information as far as the research goes and the tools you need. I also have cloudedtitlesblog.com, and this is free. It's free to sign up and get information. We have information about securitization, and I posted a lot of stuff. I have attorneys continuously writing me, and we've actually been attacking assignments, and I have attorneys I work with that are actually winning in court attacking assignments. And so the thing is, you have to understand that this is a very hard, arduous process, and it's not a cheap game. And you have to look at what your options are and know this before going in and retaining an attorney. This is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this information with you, because there's a lot of attorneys out there that have learned how to play the delay game, and they use it as a business model. And when they do that, basically what they're doing is they're charging you a fee almost equal to what you would be paying every month and paying that mortgage. So sometimes it's better to call the mortgage loan servicer and negotiate and get that mortgage loan caught up than it is to pay an attorney to fight it just because you think something's rotten in Denmark. And it is entirely possible that you do have dirty paper in your chain of title, which is one of the reasons I recommended you to go to the cloudedtitles.com website. So anyway, aside from that, it's been fun. I'm going to share continuous videos as we progress through this coronavirus scandal, because there's a lot of unanswered questions, even with the coronavirus issues and where they came from and whether they were cultured in a lab. I personally don't believe they came from a wet market. That's impossible. Only Ozzy Osbourne bites the heads off of bats, and he didn't spread the coronavirus. So, start putting your thinking cap on and think about what the real reasons are as to why we're in this mess and why I think the United States government is trying to shape the way you think. And it's because the fact that they want you to be submissive. They want you to walk 6 feet apart. They want you to take that vaccine. And who knows, that vaccine might have a chip in it. Doesn't that just scare you just a little bit? Well, that's kind of outside the realm of foreclosure defense. And so until next time, we thank you so much for dialing in. We'll talk soon.